hold that against you too much, but I will say for the type of guy I am, I don't like to do that shit. And I've gotten criticized for it. So, you know, some of my female friends, like, I'll start with the phone. Like, I think I alluded to this yesterday. Like, if women just call me and say, hey, Alan, like, so what's going on? I'll be like, so when we fucking? They'll be like, Alan. I'll be like, when we fucking? We fucking tomorrow? We fucking 2 days from now? They'll be like, no, I just called you today just to, like, like, catch up with what you've been up to. I'm like, okay, I gotta go. They'll be like, Alan, you can be an asshole sometimes. You can be a total dick. You know that? I'm like, so? But I'm not gonna sit on the phone for an hour talking about bullshit. Now, if I'm in the mood, maybe, every now and then I might do that shit. But I don't even do that with men, so I know I'm not gonna do it with women. Most of my male friends know, they like, don't call Alan and just be like, hey, want to catch up because he's gonna cut you off. I don't, but I know that's what people are used to, is talking. Like, I notice a lot of people, and I'm gonna generalize a little bit by slanting towards women, they don't like to have silence. I've been in a lot of situations, like with women, I'll be, I won't be saying anything. They'll say, Alan, what's wrong? I'll be like, what's wrong? You asking me that question? I'm like, ain't shit wrong with me. They'll be like, you ain't saying anything. I'm like, what should I be saying? Just like you should be talking. Why? What should I be talking about? Some stupid shit? Don't you it just feels weird to be sitting in a room with you and you're not saying anything. I'm like, why? My mother and father used to sit in the room all the time. They didn't say shit to each other. He might be reading the paper and she'd be doing whatever. Do people have to be fucking talking all the time? I don't like to just talk to be fucking talking. Again, I'm not gonna hate on the people who, if that's people's thing, I say more power to them. But like Sasha will tell you this, in the apartment. There's been times in the apartment I'm staying here where I've been out with the other people and talking to them. But I only talk when I genuinely feel like I have something to say. But as you notice, Fawn and everybody who's been in the apartment with me, there's sometimes I'm just in my room. And those are the moments when I'm like, I ain't got shit to say. I'm not just gonna go out like, hey, Sasha, so like, what's up, man? What'd you think about today's thing, I just ain't gonna do that. So, I like to have conversations that are meaningful and productive. Indirect approach. When you approach a woman and one, you are neither specific, honest, and or straightforward with her about why you really approached her. Again, you didn't really approach her to talk about orange juice. Number two, you are neither specific, honest, and or straightforward about why you really want to share her company now or in the near or distant future. See, that second part, that's another thing. I'll hear guys, and again, I'm not going to be too harshly critical of this, but guys will say sometimes, hey, I think we should like get together and, like hang out. What the fuck does that mean? Really, hang out. Hang out and do what? Hang out and go to a movie? Hang out and go to a concert? Here's my thing. If you want to take a woman out to dinner because you genuinely want companionship while eating dinner, I have no criticisms of you. If you want to go to a movie, invite a woman to a movie with you because you genuinely want companionship while you're watching a movie, I have no criticisms of you. But I know from most of my male friends and acquaintances that at least half the time that guys invite women to do shit, they really just want to fuck. Guys will say, man, I didn't really want to go to a movie with her. I was just trying to get in her pants. I didn't really want to go to a concert with her. I was just trying to get in her pants. I told a story yesterday of a friend of mine. He was doing all that shit. He was taking this woman to restaurants, which I was already critical of, but I said, okay. Took her to all these cultural events and shit. But the kicker, God bless his heart, she came to him and said, I'll use a fake name. She said, Brian, can you pay for me to go to Cancun? Now, what's the first red flag with that question? Anybody?
You pay for me?
What's the key word, though?
Pay.
Well, you can say that too. That's a close second, but what's the really key word? Me. She didn't say, can you pay for us to go to Cancun? She said, can you pay for me to go to Cancun? His dumb ass thought she meant us. And it wasn't until I told him, I said, dude, it don't sound like she's trying to have you go on that trip. He was like, dude, what are you talking about? Don't be a dumbass. Of course I'm going on a trip. I said, you need to clarify that shit. Sure enough, when he clarified, she's like, no, I'm going with my girlfriends. This is a girl's trip. But I want you to pay for it. So, sometimes I ain't gonna lie, I love to be the one to say I told you so, but usually with your close friends or family members, you hate to be the one to say I told you so. But literally, I predicted everything that was gonna happen. I said, dude, remember I was just talking about in the early part of the presentation about the talk, when women give the talk. I said, dude, I guarantee you, because he kept saying, man, I said, why are you doing all this? He said, man, I'm earning brownie points. A lot of guys will use that phrase. He said, man, I'm earning brownie points. Man, once she come back from Cancun, man, we gonna be smashing. We gonna be doing this. I said, dude, this is what's gonna happen. 3 to 5 days after she comes back from Cancun, she's gonna say, Brian, can we talk? And then she's gonna say, you're a great guy. You're a sweetheart. You're gonna make some woman. And at the time he was like, man, you crazy, man. This chick is all into me, man. She's all into me. She went to Cancun. He paid for her ticket and paid at least 1/4 of her 2 girlfriends' tickets. She came back, and I'm sure enough, about 6-7 days after she came back, she gave him the talk. And he called me, as some of my guys would do, like it was like 1 in the morning. It's like, man, he literally sounded like he wanted to cry. He was like kind of angry, but you know how your boys, they sound when they about to, he's like, man, this is some bullshit, man. This is some bullshit. I said, calm down, dude, what's up? He said, man, you was so right, Allan, man. You was so right, man. He's like, yeah, fucking bitch, man, she played me. And I said what Johnny's answer was. I said, no. I said, bro, dude, I love you. You my friend, dude. But you played yourself. You played yourself. You thought earning, as you call them, these brownie points was going to lead to this fantastic romantic and sexual chemistry, and it didn't. It was a funny thing, well, not funny for him. He said, dude, you remember when you talking about that talk? Man, her shit was like almost verbatim what you said. She was like, hey, Brian, we need to talk. She even sighed in the places that you sighed and paused. And said, you're a great guy, you know, and you're going to make some woman a great husband, but I'm just not feeling any romantic sparks. So, you know, a lot of guys, and I've heard dating coaches say this, they say, no, it's more effective for you to be kind of vague and ambiguous. Don't tell a woman you immediately want to fuck them. Just say, hey, I want to hang out socially. Yeah, you can do that. But if that woman's not interested in you, I guarantee you're going to feel like you wasted your motherfucking time. Now again, the key difference is if you're hanging out with somebody because you genuinely, keyword is genuinely, want to hang out with that person for dinner, lunch, concert, movie, be my guest. But if you're doing any of those things with the ulterior motive of fucking that woman, you are setting yourself up to be played. You're setting yourself up to be played. We talked about the 4 types of women. Again, I never have anybody disagree with those reciprocators. Never have anybody disagree with those rejectors, although a lot of dating coaches say you should avoid them like the plague. I say rejection is win-win. Rejection is win-win. Some people say, that doesn't make sense. You just throwing that out there. That's stupid. No, it is. Because here's the thing. If a woman rejects you because I'm competing with somebody. If a woman rejects you because she's genuinely not interested in you, that's a win, particularly if she rejects you immediately because you're not having your time wasted. That's a win. And if a woman is pretending not to be interested in you, that's a win, because she's going to make an attempt to contact you again. And at that point, you're going to have the upper hand. So I'm never afraid of rejection. I don't like it. I'm not going to sit there and say, I love being rejected. That would be disingenuous. But I'm saying I'm not afraid of it. Pretenders, I mainly talked about that yesterday. That's what my book, Ooh Said Again, centers around. To give the little quiz, what's a pretender? Anybody? What's a pretender? Give me a general description of a pretender. Well, anybody but Johnny. No, anybody but Sasha and Johnny.
Is it indirect or something? Like someone who once says he wants one thing, but actually is it that? Is it?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I don't want to say I really want to just.
Well, pretender, that was generally it. A pretender is my term for a woman who deep down really has some degree of romantic or sexual interest in you, but because of her social programming, she's going to initially, whether it's for the first few minutes, first few hours, first few days, weeks, might be even first few months after she meets you, she's going to pretend, number one, that she's not interested. Any more specifically, she's going to pretend like she's not as kinky as she really is. She wants you to think she's a prudish good girl. But if you're more one, especially if you follow advice and Ooh Said Again, you will know how to overcome that and break her down. Now, the one I have out of these four probably gotten the most challenges from, not so much from women. I've had only maybe 1 or 2 women, but men, interesting enough. Men will challenge me on this, like going back to that LSS forum that Sasha invited me on. A lot of guys will start saying, Allan, I'm sorry, man, some of your stuff is cool, but you kind of overemphasize this thing where you think women are manipulative, man. You're like treating women like they're the enemy. And like, you know, it's us versus them. And I don't think that way, and I don't like to think that way. And, you know, I don't know what you're talking about with all these manipulative time wasters. I'm like, really? Well, hold that thought. Before we get to time wasters, I want to go back just 1 second. Pretenders. As I told you, again, I got to reemphasize, when I'm talking dirty to women, I'm not like going, hey, baby, I want to fuck the shit out of you. So if anybody had that thought of me, well, a lot of you guys weren't even familiar with me before this weekend. But if you ever had that stereotype, please throw that out, because that is not an Allan Roger Curry move. My shit is very smooth. Matter of fact, my brother teases me because he says, dude, when you go into seductive mode, he said the first thing that happens is your voice drops. Because like I remember one time we were at this party, and like these other women who I wasn't really interested in, I was talking in the voice I'm talking in now. I was like, hey, you know, blah, 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 blah. But as soon as I targeted a woman I want to sleep with, I was like, what's up? Me and you need to hook up in the next couple weeks. My voice was real soft. I said, we need to hook up. She was like, hook up and do what? I said, fuck. Excuse me? You're excused. And so I want to do this exercise, and young lady Sarah has been nice enough to volunteer. Now, I want to have a disclaimer. I don't want any guy to get out of control, because, you know, I have to put you in your place. But this is just going to be exercise, because the reason why I want to do this is because I had a couple of guys tell me yesterday, and I've experienced this before, where some guys are so verbally shy that not only do they feel they couldn't talk X-rated to a woman, they said to me, they said, Allan, I feel uncomfortable saying X-rated shit like to you in your presence, and you're like another guy. And I was like, really? Well, I wasn't really surprised, because like I said, I've heard it from different guys before. So first question I want to ask, who in their own mind would believe that they're the most verbally shy guy in this room? Raise your hand if you think you're the most verbally shy guy in this room. Okay, raise your hand if you think you're the second most verbally shy guy in this room. Okay, damn. Raise your hand if you think you're the third, fourth, or fifth most verbally shy guy in this room. So none of you are verbally shy. None of you.
They already, of course, they're too shy.
They're too shy to admit that they're shy. Okay, well, let me just put it this way. I want somewhere between 3 to 5 volunteers. Give me 3 to, raise your hand if you want to be one of my volunteers for just a verbal exercise. Okay, you, and, okay, I got 5 right here. So you, come on, stand, you. Well, you got a lady on your lap, so I know you're not, but you just want to participate. I ain't mad at you. And you. So this is what I want you to do with my good friend Sarah here. I'll demonstrate, and then I want you guys to follow suit. I want you simply to get close to her and whisper in her ear whatever triple X rated thing you want to say. If you want to say, damn, I love you to just fucking suck my cock, and I love it, just fuck you, silly. And all she's gonna say after each one is, I appreciate your honesty, thank you. So don't be like, yeah, I could feel you. You was getting turned on without saying that shit. Where's your number, baby? No, don't do that. Just, I want you guys to just say it for the feeling of saying it. Because some guys don't feel like they can say it. So again, I'm giving you license to just, in her left ear, whatever you want to tell her. Now, you don't even have to say it loud enough for us to hear. It could be a really, really soft whisper. But whatever you feel like saying, and again, she's just going to say, I appreciate your honesty, thank you. So, Ing, let's start with you. You go up to her and lean into her left ear. And
I just love your looks. I'm even going to do an American accent. You can do British if you want. But I want to take you. I want you. Your pretty little lips with that little piercing right on my dick and suck it. Then I'm gonna take you, bend you over.
Okay, gotta do a timeout here.
Appreciate your effort.
Now the verbal part, I didn't have a problem with. But please, for the next 4, don't do anything physical. Okay? Now I want to say this though. In real life situations, if I feel like I'm getting a vibe, then yes, I have gotten physical with women. Probably the first thing I usually do is I might start caressing a woman's ass. But for the purposes of this exercise, I don't want anybody, but yeah. But I talk about this in my book because I get asked a lot, like, Allan, how quickly should you be physically? I said, it's hard to put in words because you got to have an intuitive sense of when a woman is really being receptive to you. Now, typically, if a woman is letting you be close enough to talk to her in the ear, 90 to 99% of the time, she's not going to have a problem. But yeah, he was just like, yeah, shit, I want to just, let me finger fuck you right now. Okay, you're next.
We sat next to each other at dinner, so.
Okay, but again, in real life, if a woman is giving you the signs that you can get away with that, then yeah, by all means. Go ahead.
I was actually wondering like how your pacing feels while you're giving them blowjob. Is that a problem or can you do good?
Well, I haven't heard any complaints, so.
Oh, nice. Looking forward to that.
Okay, I appreciate your efforts.
Honesty. You appreciate their honesty. Thank you. Good. Okay, next. I ain't gonna lie, dude. She looked like she was into that. Cause see, no, I gotta give him a compliment. That voice is the voice that I want my clients to reach. He had what I would call the right voice. It wasn't too loud. It wasn't so much of a whisper that she couldn't hear. he had the right voice. I liked his demeanor. I mean, yeah, he was right here in the space, and you know, and he had that smooth, it was like a smooth rhythm to his voice. So that was one to emulate. I really like that. Okay, your turn.
Appreciate the honesty.
Okay, now I'm not picking on you, but I will say this. I was just talking about certain volume, and I would say, I mean, I don't want to be too legalistic and act like, you know, if you're not at this volume, you're doing it wrong. But you were just a little bit too soft. And the reason I could tell, because she had to almost, she leaned her head like, almost like, what are you saying? So that's when you know you too soft of a whisper. If a woman has to move her head to say like, okay, like has that look like I can't really hear you. What are you saying? And there was a second where she had that look like I don't. So you need to bring it up just. But I'll say this: between the two extremes, I would rather a guy be too soft and then maybe bring it up a bit than to be too loud. Because loud to me is just not sexy. You know, that's why I hate when guys. And I know they trying to be funny, but I hate when guys impersonate me and they do that loud shit. Because there's nothing sexy about it. Shit, I want to fuck you. I want to fuck you silly. Damn, them tits look good. Shit, I bet that pussy is tight and wet. God damn, I want to fuck you. Ain't no woman's pussy getting wet over that shit. Final. Your turn. That was good. That was good. Okay. Thank you, fellas. Appreciate you helping me out. And thank you. Thank you very much. So now I know there were a couple other guys in this room who probably know the good and well they sitting there verbally shy. But no, this goes back to my thing about envisioning negative reactions. Please don't do that. Please don't. If you get one, so what? It ain't gonna kill you. You know, your ego might be bruised a little bit. But what's that saying? No risk, no rewards. I've said, matter of fact, I got into an argument on my show because this woman, her and two other women wrote this book called The Little Black Book of Big Red Flags. And I actually enjoyed probably 3/4 of the book. But they had one section where this woman said, a red flag is if a man just meets you and he starts talking about sex and he starts trying to talk dirty to you. That means he's a creep and he's a selfish lover, and just don't interact with a guy like that. So during the interview, I asked about that. I said, so what's your deal against a man talking sexually provocative to a woman in the first conversation? This is my pet peeve. Anybody familiar with a comedian / talk show host named Bill Maher?
Yeah.
Bill Maher, me and him share at least one characteristic. Bill Maher, he hates when people pull statistics out of their ass. And I hate that. Have you ever been around somebody like, say, I don't know, you were eating butter pecan ice cream and some friend of yours said, why are you eating butter pecan? Everybody knows vanilla is the best ice cream. Matter of fact, I would say like probably 98% of the people in the world love vanilla ice cream more than they love. See, that's the truth. That's what I'm like, okay, where did you just pull that statistic out? Your ass, your pussy, what? Where did that fucking come from? Anyway, that's what this woman on my show, she was like, Allan, I'm just going to tell you, 99% of women do not like men to be sexually provocative with them when they really don't know them. I said, that's based on whose survey? And she, of course, I said, please tell me, where are you referencing that from? I'm competing with people. And she said, and of course she couldn't answer. And I told her straightforward, I said, you just pulled that statistic out your ass. And she ended up apologizing for it too, which I'll give her credit for. A few minutes later, she said, okay, I'm sorry. I did just kind of make that statistic up. I said, you damn sure you did. Because I know from my own life experiences, I've had way more women be receptive to my dirty talk than unreceptive to it. Sasha was a witness. We were at this restaurant at the London Direct Dating Summit, and there was these two sisters, not like blood sisters, I tend to call black women sisters. Two sisters that was getting ready to leave, and I introduced myself to both of them. And first I was talking to both of them, then Sasha, being Mr. Initiative, he got up and started talking to the other one, so me and him were both talking to one. But the woman I was talking to, literally 2 minutes into the conversation, it started getting X-rated, because the turning point was I said, we need to share each other's company before I leave town. She said, oh, I would love to do that. You are a very handsome guy, but she said, I have a boyfriend. Now, a lot of times I say this in my book, if a woman says she's married and got a boyfriend, I don't challenge that. I just leave the woman alone. But if I feel like the woman's giving me a lot of rhythm, yeah, honestly, I'll challenge that. Now, I have to preface that by saying, as I've gotten older, I don't like to fuck other guys' wives, girlfriends, fiancés. In my younger days, 20s, I didn't give a fuck. And I'll be real about it. And I did fuck quite a few guys, other women. But I'm just more of a karma guy, and I just believe it's fucked up. So I don't like to fuck women, even if they throwing a pussy at me. But anyway, getting back to the story, I decided to challenge her. I said, okay. I said, you love him? And she hesitated. I said, well, because you hesitated, I said, I don't get the impression you love him. She said, well, we've only been dating like 4 or 5 months. I said, okay. I said, well, let me just ask you this last question. Is he fucking you right? And she said, you're so bad. And I said, that's not an answer. I said, is he fucking you right? She said, he could do better. I said, oh, damn, if you was my woman, I would never want you telling anybody that. I would never want you, because I said I would be fucking the shit out of you. And of course she started looking around, she's like, you're so bad. I said, number one, I'd just take your clit into my mouth and just start tickling your clit with the wet warmth of my tongue. And I could tell she was getting aroused. She started fidgeting. And this was like at roughly the 2-minute mark of our conversation. And she started telling me, she said, oh, I love to have my pussy licked. What did I say, Fawn? What do you think I said? Say it. I was like, say it. She said, oh, I love to have my pussy licked. I said, oh, shit. I know you got a boyfriend. I respect your relationship. But I would love to just have you spread your legs. I mean, just put my tongue, just suck that clit in my mouth and then release it like you play with a noodle and chicken noodle soup. Just release it. She was like, oh. She said, I have to stop talking to you because I think we need to go, me and my friend. Of course, her friend was over there. Tasha was like, yeah, you know. They was talking. But they were both great girls. But I brought up that to say that, you know, some other guys might have believed that, oh, man, you can't talk dirty to a woman like 2 or 3 minutes after you meet them. That's some bullshit. I've talked dirty women literally within the first 10, 20, 30 seconds after I met them. Now, of course, some women weren't receptive to it. Some women, it didn't lead to me fucking them, and that's okay. But for me, Steve had something about screening, and I think I mentioned this yesterday. Not only is that my attempt to arouse a woman, but for me, it's a screening process. Because when I fuck, I like to talk dirty. I'm not a silent fucker. Now, some guys are silent fuckers. Seriously, I got some guys that tell me, they say, Allan, I don't talk at all when I fuck. I just fuck. I can't fuck without, that's like, oh, I thought you were giving me a signal. I got some time. Yeah, I got 20 minutes to go, and then I'm gonna wrap up. Well, if that was time for 20 to 30 minutes, then yeah, that was the right sign. What was that? Made me lose my train of thought. Silent fuck, yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm just not into that. And I'm not saying if you're not into talking dirty, that means you're not doing something right. Everybody has their own thing. But I think you should talk to women. If you have some criteria for who you want to have sex with, and that's also something Steve talked about, I generally agree with that. Like, for example, and I say this with all due respect to the smokers in the room, I don't like smokers. So, like, if I see a woman smoke, she could be drop dead gorgeous, body, everything. At most, I might do a one-night stand with her, but I know I'm not going to have regular sex with a smoker. So sometimes I will bring up smoking or just simply ask a woman, like, do you smoke? And if she says yes, then I'm not talking dirty to her. That's that conversation. Any type of sexual advance has gone out the window. So yeah, I think you should qualify women if you have. That's assuming you have. Now, some guys' only criteria is, hey, the woman got a nice tits, she got a nice ass, she got an attractive face. I want to fuck her. And sometimes I just want to fuck. I don't want to try to hide that. And that's where I was feeling a little funny when Steve was talking about, you got to come from the heart and there's to be this love. And I mean, I'm not saying what he was saying is wrong, but I'm saying for me, it ain't like I want to have this loving connection with everybody I fuck. Some women, I just want to fuck them. I'm like, damn, she got a bad ass. Damn, I just want to see myself fucking that doggy style shit. But I make that clear. The thing, I never feel guilty about that is because I don't mislead a woman to believe that I want something emotionally profound that's going to lead to a relationship that lead us getting married. I tell women straight, I say, hey, I'm just looking to fuck. And the good thing is there's a lot of women in society that's all they want. I mean, women tell me all the time, they'll say, sometimes I just want some dick. I ain't trying to be all like, oh, I love you and you feel so special. I just want to get fucked. I want some dick. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes I just want my dick sucked. Like that woman I talked about in the airport. She wasn't trying to fall in love. She didn't want us talking on the phone, whispering lovely, sweet nothings to each other. I wanted my dick sucked. I got her pussy wet. She wanted to suck my dick. When it was all over, we just was like, had fun. We gave each other pounds. She was like, stay in touch. I was like, okay.